Dr. Ashraf is visible now. Namaskar, Ashraf. बहुत namaskar.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the online literature conference on environment and literature with participation of BIMSTEC countries, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Thailand, organized by Sahitya Academy and Foundation of SARC Writers and Literature. The conference was inaugurated yesterday at 10 a.m. and afterward, we have successfully conducted 8 sessions of discussions, interviews, fiction readings, and recitations of poetry. This is the 9th session of the conference devoted to poetry readings. The session is being chaired by Sri Rinjin from Bhutan. Welcome to all of our participants. We have 9 other poets from Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Let us begin the session and enjoy poetry. At first, I request Dr. Ashraf Jewel from Bangladesh.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Please,
Am I audible? Okay, thank you all. Very good afternoon. It was a very nice meeting to see you all here and see a lot of poets and friends across the South Asian country. Again, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Maji Ajit Kaur that she is organizing such kind of programs twice a week, even in the COVID era. So we are getting touched with each other every time, and we're expressing our feelings and to each other. So that is an, I think, excellent opportunity for me to express my feelings to all of you. Very good evening, or sorry, good afternoon. So I'd like to recite 2 of my poems. Actually, the problem is that I'm in hospital on duty, so I have to just to make a time for attending this kind of literature festival. But anyway, so first my poem, the name of my poem is Mother Says. The poem was translated by poet Rajia Sultana. She is residing in USA. So I'm going with my poem Mother Says.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
am I audible and I'm there? Am I there?
Yes, you are audible, yes.
I have a small request to make. I have another urgent meeting. Can you put me a little up in the sequence, maybe number 2 or number 2?
Please put your name, madam. Please
Sangeeta
rename
Gupta.
yourself. Okay.
Sangeeta Gupta.
Okay.
Okay, can I continue?
Let us continue our program.
Please, I'm so sorry to bother you.
Okay, it's all right, madam. How are you?
I'm very good.
Thank you. So the name of my poem is Mother Says. Mother says, think the city is your relative. Since you are going to visit, act like you are innocent and don't take red meat. Mother knows her son will be in the city of capital. She wants him to stay away from those who's got venom teeth and find a grocery store nearby. Also, not to write poems. People will have all an ill outlook of you and pay the dues of the king on time. He warns more than once about the toadstool, not to walk on them. Jewels will then swell up. He asks to hold the left hand strong with the right hand. When light goes down and when I go back to the village to join the club for annual sports competition, I know I have to win the 1600-meter race. My mother badly needs a silver plate. Take your words back, Mom. In the city life, your son is now blended just as good as the poets. So that was my first poem. So I'm going to recite another poem, which name is The Poet and His Lover.
Little louder.
The,
Ashraf, a little
yeah, Maji,
louder. A little louder.
louder. Okay, I'm trying. So I think now it's okay.
Louder, louder.
Okay, Maji. Okay.
Okay.
So the next poem I would like to recite. The name of the poem is The Poet and His Lover, and it has been translated by Indian poet Amitabha Kaur. She is also residing in USA and retired, I think, officer. But she is he is very much used to write in Bengali as well as in English poem in our country in different newspaper. So, The Poet and His Lover. Have you come to teach me John Arthur Rimbaud in rains among nature and at dawn? Don't you know the cushion of the most savory flesh lies in sluts' blessings? The thing you consider as design of doomsday is actually lost, now salvaged Mahasthangor. I have been seen mourning of dispersed bricks on your radioactive skin. My fair lady, you better show your 13 years old kiss on the mirror of memory and watch how the Padma Bridge floats with male vigor, piercing all consolations. Today, here's a proposal to Russell Rahan's poem through you. Tell your daddy to concentrate deeply on the epoch-making inventions of cultivations of fingers. I see some young people selling acumen of silence. They are dragging and pulling down Al Mahmud among eloquent harpoons of furniture. The way the pet clocks agree with them is very loud voices. It seems Al Mahmoud lips have crossed Beijing and settled on some abandoned feeders of Gobi Desert. Do you remember a rain-plugged rickshaw and a band male drawing a tattoo of a lobsters on your neck? Do you remember him setting fire in the icy fireplace called your body? Or has your memory suddenly gone beneath the piling of Mokbajar flyover? I can't sleep. With battle cries all around, my worship is like a startled vulture. It roams in the poems of Imtiaz Mahmud. I wait by the side of Imtiaz's grave for a long time. I wait for his lady love. I wait only to ask a question to her. Why can't women appreciate poets' love in time? You came running towards me on the advice of neoconverts and sophomores doctors and told me a woman doesn't appreciate her lover poet's love in time, as she wants to remember her poet lovers while making safe love to her husband. So thank you. That was my two poem. I do have time to recite another one.
No, I'll barge in. Dr. Ashra, thank you so much. We are already 10 minutes into the program. So if we get extra time, I'll definitely offer you the opportunity. Can we please stick to 6 minutes? I think that's all the time we will get. So next, is it okay if we call on to Sangeeta Gupta ji because she needs to leave? Is it all right with you? Divya Jyoti ji?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Appreciate. Ms. Sangeeta, please go ahead.
Right. Thank you so much for appreciating my problem. I would be in another conference which has cropped in a emergency situation. So thank you for this opportunity. I just would like to introduce myself in a few words. I'm a bilingual poet. I write mostly dominantly in Hindi, but I also write English poems. 4 of my English poem collections are published. I have total 20 collection of poems, and 10 of my collections are translated in various languages of the world, like German, Greek, Chinese, then the regional languages in Bangla, Dogri, and many other languages. Without ado to anything else, I would rather share my poems. One of my poems, which was written initially in Hindi, I have translated myself in English. So whether we are only going to read English poems, or can I read a few lines in Hindi also?
Please go ahead. Just stick to your time, and you can, if you can manage the time, that's perfectly all right.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. I'll just read 2 lines in Hindi and then come to the same poem in English. तुम्हारी तबीयत का सुना जब से, चाह रही हूँ तब से, एक सिरे से सब दुनियावी जरूरी गैर जरूरी मसरूफियतें खारिज कर दूं, खामोश बैठी रहूं तुम्हारे सिरहाने, सोख लूं तुम्हारी सब तकलीफ अपनी उंगलियों से, के पोरों से, धीरे से चूम लूं तुम्हारी आंखें, भर दूं उनमें नींद के बोसे, तुम्हारे हर बाल पर लिख दूं अपनी हर अनकही नज्म, निगाहों से छू लूं तुम्हें ऐसे कि हर रोम रोम सुकून से भर जाए, तुम्हारे पांव तले छुपा दूं अपनी दुआएं, एक पलक की पलके झपकाओ तुम्हें तो आराम आ जाए, खामोश बैठी रहूं तुम्हारे सिरहाने, तुम्हारी तबीयत का सुना जब से. The same poem I'm going to read in English so that people can, the people who do not know Hindi would be able to understand. Since I heard you are unwell, I have been thinking. Since I heard that you are unwell, I have been thinking, I must brush aside all essentials, non-essential concerns of the world. Sit by your bedside in silence. Absorb all your discomfort. Softly kiss your eyes with the tips of my fingers. Fill them. Fill them with kisses of sound sleep. Scribble on each of your hair, each of my unsaid poems. Touch you with my glance in such a way that each pore of your skin gets filled with peace. Hide my blessings under your feet in a way that you experience comfort in a split of a second. Sit by your bedside in silence. Since I heard that you are unwell, I have been thinking. I have been thinking. This is one of my poem which I have translated myself. I will read one English poem, and that is a note to myself. A note to myself. I was reviewing my life lived so far, especially the year gone by. This I try and do every year during the last few days after Christmas. I did try to reach out to people known and unknown, to keep them safe in my soul, to love one more time, to live in the present, to laugh at nothing, to go by the flow. It's been a year of loss of friends and loved ones, loss of hope and faith, loss of my belief system. I am heartbroken. Pain has filled me inside out. All that has left me devastated. I am grieving my loss. I am in mourning, not looking forward to anything, unable to understand the higher reason behind what's unfolding. I comfort myself. I comfort myself by telling myself time and again, distraction is a necessary part of the creative process. Let life happen. You are here to have the human experience. Come home. Come home to yourself. Establish a deeper connection with the woman in the mirror. With the woman in the mirror. This is a note to myself. I was reviewing my last year. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm so happy to be part of it. I will continue till I'm able to continue, and then I will seek your forgiveness that I will have to leave a little earlier.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta Gupta ji, for sharing your beautiful poems with us. Next, may I call on to Divya Jyotis Sarma. Please, the floor is yours. Kindly introduce yourself briefly.
Hello, my name is Divya Sharma. I'm a writer and editor. I also run the poetry publishing house called Red River, based in Delhi. Thank you for having me this evening. And today I'm going to read 2 poems from my collection, Book of Prayers for the Non-Believer. The first poem is called We Pick Flowers. We pick flowers. The flowers that bloom on our hills are red, like the setting sun, like my grandfather's patterned loincloth, like my mother's mournful eyes now empty of tears, like my brother's bullet-ridden shirt, like blood, our blood, which we spill indiscriminately. The flowers that bloom on our hills are yellow, like the calluses of my father's hardy hills, like my grandmother's gums empty of memories, like ripe rice grains, like a piece of dried pork, like the brass medallions our ancestors. The flowers that bloom on our hills are blue, like the hill surrounded in mist, like the shawl my sister wraps herself with, like the city lights we spy upon on moonless nights, like the vehicles on which they came to tell us, like the sky, our sky, without shade, without change. Thank you. And the second poem is called We Are Elsewhere. My skin, like the bed of a parched river, and a black thread around my waist. My cracked heels like killed earth, and I do not have anything else. One day, I took refuge in water. Those sparkling tides full of salt were my mother's doleful eyes. Those brown waves, my father's trusting shoulders. The water here, crimson like blood splattered on red earth, is not the same which fashioned the grave for my grandfather in another time, in another country, where after circling waves of ocean claimed their prize, the land and everything else, my father, not yet a man, turned himself into a fish and swam upstream, looking for land. Here the water sheltered us, the sweet, sweet water of this gold land. And my father was man again, to command the sun, to plant a sapling, supple and resilient, to withstand the flow. I was conceived inside the stem of a blue lily that bloomed next the field, where water was the blood on my veins, mother's milk, the lungi I tied to my waist. Water was my guide. I was a floating hyacinth, violet and fragile, and she who fueled my life sprouted on my skin like a green leaf, which was our feast, our waking dream of a time when we will be free. The fire raised, and the hunters arrived, who did not want the fragile beauty of hyacinth, the warmth of fish, or the strength of water, but everything to be clean, man-made. That day I took refuge in water, not a fish like my father, but like a floating log during the flood, which would be my impermanent grave somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Divya Jyotis. Thank you for sharing your beautiful poems. Very happy to see you again. I remember our days in Guwahati and back in Delhi.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you so much.
yes.
Next, we have no other than Ashok Atreya ji. Please.
Namaskar.
Namaskar ji.
Well, I am feeling myself very happy to be here with you all and express my thanks to the organizers of this International Sark Environment and Literature Conference for providing me this space and opportunity to present my points in the 9th session. I'm especially thankful to Ajit Kaurji, the President of FOSWAL and Secretary of Sahitya Academy, Srinivasandi, for this invitation. My brief introduction is this. I'm writing poetry, fiction, and plays for last 50 years. And my first long poem was published in Leher, a well-known journal of Hindi, in 1969. The poem was Jalte Basant Ki Cheek. Onwards, I am published in almost all well-known journals of India. My books to be mentioned in the context here. मेरे पिता की विजय कहानी संग्रह, उदाहरण के लिए कहानी संग्रह, अबूझमार long poetry in Hindi, The Innocent Anarchist long poem in Hindi, All the Beautiful Daughters of Mara novel, and 5 full-length radio plays translated from BBC, etc. My latest collection of poems, बहुत कुछ बिखरा हुआ, was recently inaugurated in Delhi, and 2 more books on criticism, Samagra Hemant Sheth and Isliye Rajesh Joshi, contemporary poets. I published recently this my poetry collection, which was released in Delhi. I am presenting here my 3 poems, one little bit long and 2 small. The first one is a translation from my Hindi poem, Swarg Ka Pehla Reporter. The second one is poster, a poster on environment. And the third one is washing machine. So I start with reading my first poem from my collection, बहुत कुछ बिखरा हुआ. The first reporter from heaven. Halt, dear, halt. The stranger, halt. Why don't you catch a breeze underneath the shady neem? Halt, dear stranger, halt. Why don't you catch a breeze underneath the shady neem? What? Did you say there was not a single tree around? Did you say there was not a single tree around? Then there must be some pond, rippling rivulet or a well in sight of you nearby. Please relax to quench your thirst. Please relax to quench your thirst. Moisten your cracked lips that yearn water, oh weary traveler. Neither a traveler nor I am a wanderer adrift. Who are you then? I asked. A reporter collecting news? Or a meandering solitary cloud? Riding on precocious warm winds? Or a nature spirit? Yaksh, protector of the forests? Or a celestial dancer of Indra Sarma? Are you a lost soul? No, I am right on the course, traveling through the luscious breeze of lofty eastern winds.
Little louder. Little
Gee,
louder.
okay. Amid first green meadows under the blue sky, I have walked the way 1,000 times through these lands whose glories are woven into the melodious songs sung by beauteous fairies and nymphs. I too am a Gandharv, a singer-seer, a sight-seer, who has strolled across the earth countless times. What I say happened here, this man, is beyond any imagination. Unfathomable. Thousands and millions dying. Thousands and millions dying. Lurking vultures. Corpses, devils, scavengers. Everywhere, an eerie silence. Toxic gas filled the air. Fires as far as the eye traveled. Haven't you noticed this all, my friend? The stranger questioned. I was speechless. The last para. I was speechless and anxious. It was just as if I woke from a nightmare. I asked the Gandharv to promptly return to the heaven. The world is on a ventilator. The world is on a ventilator. You must catch the earliest bus to heaven. You must catch the earliest bus to heaven and file the earth's first breaking news. You must catch the earliest batch to heaven and file the earth's first breaking news. This is about the pandemic.
You have less than 2 minutes, sir.
Appreciate this because this
Ashok
is,
ji,
Ji,
you have less than 2 minutes. Would you like to read another one within 2 minutes?
one more, yes please. In Hindi, एक पोस्टर देखकर एक अजीत जी स्पेशली इसको पसंद करेगी कि रिलेटेड है एनवायरनमेंट से. एक पोस्टर देखकर तुमने सोचना शुरू कर दिया है मुझे मालूम है और मैं शायद इसीलिए खुश हूँ. तुमने सोचना शुरू कर दिया है मुझे मालूम है और इसीलिए शायद मैं खुश हूँ. बदलते मौसम की आशंका के बावजूद, ड्यू टू क्लाइमेटिक चेंज. तुमने सोचना शुरू कर दिया है मुझे मालूम है और मैं इसीलिए दुखी हूँ. बदलते मौसम की आशंका के बावजूद. आहट, दर्द, परेशानी, तनाव, डर, गुस्सा, नासमझी, भावुकता, अंधेरा, शोर शराबा, शराब, मस्ती, हत्या, आत्महत्या, भीड़, पोस्टर. अरे ये क्या हुआ अचानक? रुक क्यों गया मैं एक पोस्टर के सामने? तुमने सोचना शुरू कर दिया है मुझे मालूम है और इसीलिए मैं रुक गया हूँ एक पोस्टर के सामने. बदलते मौसम की आशंका के बावजूद. पोस्टर जिसमें धीरे धीरे बदल रही है दुनिया. बदल रहे हैं युद्ध और शांति के समीकरण, वृक्षारोपण और अकाल के दुष्प्रभाव, प्रकृति और पुरुष की अंतरंगता. एक कैंची पूरे कायनात को घेरती. मेरे ख्याल में सुंदर बहुत स्पष्ट है. एक कैंची पूरे कायनात को घेरती सृष्टि की गहन आयताकार हरी गुफा में पड़ी है. अपना इतिहास, भूगोल और स्वाद बदलते हुए चुपचाप जाने किस उधेड़ बुन. द लास्ट पैराग्राफ. अपर्णा कौर की अद्भुत कतरनी. अर्पणा कौर की अद्भुत कतरनी की जादुई ब्रश. चीता, मोर, हिरण प्रकृति के साथ अद्भुत संवाद करती. जाने कैसे, कब और कहां उभर आता है जिजीविषा का कोई अदृश्य अर्थ. दर्द उभरने लगता है जैसे किसी भित्ति चित्र का एक नई सृष्टि का आलोक संदेश. और इस सबके बीच धुंधल के में फॉरवर्ड मार्च करती सेना, विलुप्त होती दुनिया, गॉन विद द विंड. तुमने सोचना शुरू कर दिया है मुझे मालूम है और मैं शायद इसीलिए खुश हूँ. बदलते मौसम की आशंका के बावजूद. शायद मैं इसीलिए दुखी हूँ, शायद मैं इसीलिए दुखी भी हूँ साथ साथ. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Ashok ji. Thank you so much. Next, we have Tulsi.
मुझे थोड़ा जल्दी पढ़ना पड़ा, सॉरी.
Tulsi Nirawala ji, are you around? I can see your name on the screen. Tulsi Nirawala ji from Nepal. Are you around?
नहीं
Oh, so we have saved some time. All right. I'm so sorry, but honestly, I'll miss Tulsi. Next, we have Kamrul Hassan ji from Bangladesh. Kamrul ji, very nice to see you, sir. The floor is yours. Kamrul ji.
He's there. He's there.
He's there. I can see him, but he's quiet.
Namaste. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Is
yes.
it all
please
right?
go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Poet Dream Team, and my best wishes to all of you. My respect to Amitabha Kaur ji and all the officials of Oswald for organizing this event even during this pandemic period. I thought that this time we shall be meeting in Delhi in person, maybe next time. I'll read 2 poems, maybe 3. My first poem was published from a very prestigious weekly in Kolkata, Desh, while I was a student of IIT Kharagpur in India some 40 years ago. This is quite an old poem. I have translated this poem into English. In fact, I have a selected poems book published this year. A little introduction about myself. I have 14 books of poems. I also write short stories, essays, and travelogues. In recent time, I'm writing travelogues. I have 5 travel books. And I also do a translation from English to Bangla and Bangla to English. So my first poem is, Who Will Speak Out? For him, some damsels felt soft waves in their hearts. Affectionate mother wiped her eyes on the handkerchief of sleepless nights. Many people wanted to pierce his bosom with bullets at the slaughtering house. Some also wanted to take him in the family, bathing him in moonlight. Some wanted to throw away in the thought of keeping him at their possession as a precious collectible. He didn't develop affinity with anybody except the birds and the flowers. Nobody ever heard his intense dialogue except the rivers and the sky. The tree leaves volunteered their chests to keep his sorrows. The clouds opened their miraculous supple drawers. He has kept all his poems recorded in the ears of the trees. Kamul Hassan will only speak out when the green tape sounds. That was my first poem. I'll read my second. This poem is about Kolkata. When I first visited Kolkata in 1981, you know that we read many novels written by Kolkata writers, and the picture of Kolkata was in my mind. So I just tried to match my imagination with the reality. I will visit your city, my second poem. I will visit your town, boarding the evening train. I will board from such a distance that it will be Shialda at the daybreak. Kolkata wakes up with the softness of a still-mouthed sparrow. I have in me another Kolkata, a city built up mixing fantasies with dreams. I have got all the names of roads and alleys by heart from my childhood. I might have kept all those erroneously, parks in place of lakes, tram depot in place of parks. Maybe I have kept Dharmotala adjacent to Maniktala, but all the lanes, paths, all structures of your city are known to me dearly. I have a city in my mind, stuck with the gum of childhood, immersed from the novels, profoundly read under bleak light. I shall go in search of that city. That was my second poem. I'll read a third. Do I have time?
You have just 2 minutes.
Okay. My third poem is called The Goddess. The unaverous night is awake, bordering the ages of beauty. Give it a little bit of your electrifying grace. The unattractive is so charming, coming to the bosom of the beauty. Several Paris has called an auction of selling hours, taking the mark of your footstep. Troy was destroyed for you only. Samarkand sold out. The fiery light emerges surrounding your exquisite folds. Your curves manifest his wonderful genius of creation. My eyes belong to what? Sleep or insomnia? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Kamrul Hassanji. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful poems with us, especially your antique poem. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Damodar Kisorji from Nepal. Dr. Damodarji, please.
Thank you very much, Rinjin. Again, good afternoon, all of you. This is Dr. Damodar Pudasaini. I published 17 books, including 10 poetry books. Now, 2 months ago, my one traveler book, Blue Wind of Summer, is published 2 months ago. Now I am very happy to join this wonderful program, and I want to give thanks to organizer, including Ajit Kaur ma'am. Now I am going to reciting 2 poems. One is Voice of Mountain. Voice of Mountain. Carrying a heavy load with great effort, climbing up the hill, yaks and knocks says, people are searching for life in smoke. We are looking for the same in fog and cloud. Carrying a heavy load with great effort, climbing up the hill, yaks and knocks says, people are searching for life in smoke. We are looking for the same in fog and cloud. After all, life will end while searching like a prayer flag, writing, erasing, life is hanging on a signboard. After all, life will end while searching like a prayer flag, writing, erasing, life is happening, hanging on a signboard. It's also weeping out like the letters of prayer wheel, engraved on the stone. Life is a way we can walk wherever we won't find an end. There is a race between white smoke blowing from the chimney on the roof and the vapor of the melting snow on the roof, blowing with the wind. Find the meaning of life. Life is like an iceberg. Half of it melts and quarters remain frozen. Covering the rain in the fog, acacia trees resounds alone, and a skylark keep rides digging snow of eternal love. Both them are in the process of making monastery on my shoulder to make good use of your share of love I am auditing. All day long the sun is captive of the fog. Those who seeks to imperson me lifelong are disappearing along with the clouds. All alone, I give security, keeping you and this world in the palm of my hand. Rock dove covered by small children and heartbeat of the man that I wrote on a stone wall, both are in crisis. Even the promise you made to me, why are they melting like the letters written in a glacier? Carrying on a heavy load with great effort, climbing up the hill, yaks and knocks say, people are searching for life in smoke. We are looking for the same in fog and cloud. My next poem is Song of Mountain. I love the song sung by you in your melodious voice. I love the song sung by you in your melodious voice that is falling from the sky, and along with it, your tear of joy is falling. Under my pillow, someone was playing melodious musical notes all night long. On their tin roof, you who lives across the clouds thought that tune as a primitive magic of an accomplished magician. There is a vast ocean with me, which is falling from the sky. All the waves of the world are mixed in them. Feathers of the right time are scattered upon the someone's tender palm. The last frontier of climax are broken from all perimeters. I can't live alone in the silence protest. I can't even stand on robust frame of the fantastics black spectrals. Barbineers have taken the responsibility of new key to the entrance. I can't even keep the snowflakes trapped in the colorful pond for long. I am irrigating the field of you step. I am washing your tender limbs with fresh tears. You may hear my waves or not, but for you, I am constantly playing music of the rivers, covering myself with a huge blanket of cloud. I love the song sang by you in your melodious voice that is falling from the sky, and along with it, your tear of joy is falling. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I would like to acknowledge Tulsi Nirola's presence. We'll welcome her later. Thank you so much, Dr. Damodarji. Right now, we will invite Nas Singh from Nepal. Ms. Nas Singh, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranjin, for this opportunity. Hi, Namaskar, good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to say to Honorable dear Ajit Ji for this program. I'm so very happy. Thank you very much, Ajit Didi, for having me in this program. I would first want to introduce myself, then I will recite my poems. My name is Nas Singh. I'm from Nepal. I have published a book titled is Tirkha. Tirkha means thirsty. This is Nepalese word. In this book, have included poems in 3 languages, Nepali, Hindi, and Maithili. Recently, high school curriculum in Nepal have included my Maithili poem, Sia, in their syllabus. Now I'm going to recite my 2 poems. First is Dilemma, and second poem is Shadow. My first poem is title is Dilemma. Not known what today happened to the rays of the sun. Not known what today happened to the rays of the sun, peeping through the window, came to the bed to wake me up and put a bright light on my eyes. Not known what today happened to the rays of the sun, peeping through the window, came to my bed to wake me up and put a bright light on my eyes. Suddenly blinked my eyes and opened. Suddenly blinked my eyes and opened. Sleep wrapped round the wrinkles of bedclothes. Sleep wrapped round the wrinkles of bedclothes. Woke up and sat on the edge of the bed. Sleep wrapped round the wrinkles of bedclothes. Woke up and sat on the edge of the bed. Seen in the eyes of the rage. Heartburn was burning like a fire. Possibly their anger was justified. Sleep wrapped around the wrinkles of bedclothes, woke up and sat on the edge of the bed, seen in the eyes of the rage. Heartburn was burning like a fire. Possibly their anger was justified. Late morning in the lap on the moon, late morning in the lap of the moon, they were going to rise very fast. Birds for their chickens started dieting. Late morning in the lap of the moon, they were going to rise very fast. Birds for their chickens started dieting. In the day routine, people had gone out on their respective jobs. In the day routine, people had gone out on their respective jobs as if everything created by the universe, as if everything created by the universe going according to the rules of creation. I was the only one. I was the only one who was in the opposite direction of creation. Their anger was justified. I was the only one who was in the opposite direction of creation. Their anger was justified. When descended to earth the first ray of the sun. When descended to earth the first ray of the sun, I was not there to welcome it. But what do they know? But what do they know? I was confused till late last night. But what do they know? I was confused till late last night with many faint hopes. The garden of my dreams that once used to be bright. The garden of my dreams that once used to be bright in the light of hope that is dull today. It seems as if someone has stopped somewhere. It seems as if someone has stopped somewhere, and from that stagnation, the snow has frozen. It seems as if someone has stopped somewhere, and from that stagnation, the snow has frozen. Who knows when it? Who knows when it will melt and will tear up the dark fog and come out the sun? It seems as if someone has stopped somewhere, and from that stagnation, the snow has frozen. Who knows when it will melt and will tear up the dark fog and come out the sun. I have spent the whole night in this dilemma. I have spent the whole night in this dilemma now when it was morning. Now when it was morning, there was sleep in my eyes. There was sleep in my eyes. Thank you. My
Thank
next
you,
poem is
Nasi.
do
This is
I
all the time you have. You have already taken 1 minute more. Sorry, if we get
okay,
extra
thanks.
time. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Next is Miss
Yeah, okay.
Niti
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yashoda ji, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all for this opportunity that you have given me. I'll briefly explain about myself. I'm a teacher, and when it comes to poetry writing, I have done one poetry book in Sinhala. That was when I was a schoolgirl, actually, when I was in grade 8. And after that, I have done a translation, a Sinhala poetry book to English. And today I selected one of my poems, and this is a Sinhala poem, and I translated it to English. Then you all will be able to understand. Yeah, actually this, if I explain about my poem, this is actually about the virginity of a girl, because when it comes to Sri Lanka, still it's something very big, something serious. And because of that problem, there were so many, recently also there were so many suicide cases even. So I wrote this poem actually about that. Right. So I'll start my poem. Through the orange-colored sun rays, someone is walking along, finding her face. She seldomly looks back at the way she came, which is not right. The rose on her hand, with thousands of thorns, is holding her tight. I could feel her palm, the ache it feels because of a prick torn, but she had no sensation. Like a shot, she started running, and I saw her falling to the deep, while her calm lamentation. On a rock, down the deep, her body was there, but nobody could see. I could feel the flowing blood passes her breast and her femur, but I knew sooner it will freeze. I could see white birds fly over the sky. Another drop of blood started flowing from her eye. Love, come, look at me. I'm laying down on a bed of blood that you always wanted to see. A young girl died on a rock. No one noticed. Another rock died on her head, and they all cursed. This is my poem. Actually, I wanted to mean how still in Sri Lanka it's a very tough, big thing for young girls. When it comes to young girl, if this thing is not there, it's kind of like they all are going through a lot if it's not there. And there were so many suicide cases also because of this issue. And that's why I mentioned in this poem, at last, a young girl died on a rock and no one noticed, but another rock died on her head. It's like a rock on their head. And they all cursed because of that rock, but no one noticed what she had gone through, what happened in her life. Yeah, that is my poem. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nithmi Yashoda ji. Next is Tulsi ji, but she has not been able to connect. Again, thank you so much, Yashoda ji, for a very sensitive and socially very relevant poem. Next, I'll take my opportunity. You already know my name. I do a bit of poetry. I also write for children. I also do fiction and non-fiction. And currently, I am serving as an executive director of Bhutan Transparency Initiative. We try to fight corruption, combat corruption. It's a CSO. So I'll go with the poem. Actually, I have written maybe about 500-600 poems, but I did this one specifically for this session. I completed it around 1:30. So the title is A Simple Wisdom. An ignorant human fantasy at all. Countless abound with hundreds around. Yet, until about 2 decades ago, beyond 9 planets, our knowledge didn't grow. Now we know more more than a billion exist. If only we hadn't the wisest one's wisdom resist. That's Lord Buddha's wisdom, you know. Lord Buddha knew there were extraterrestrials and all this 2,500 years ago. We look at the sky above and pray. The one up there, we say. He's not up there, but here. Only our hearts are not clear. Being on the top of the food chain, to all other living beings, we cause pain. Some we exterminate to secure our reign. Others we multiply inhumanly just to gain. From the depths of oceans and land to the exosphere of Mother Earth, everything we have poisoned: air, water, soil, flora, and fauna. Alas, our dark karma begets us the more. Natural disasters, diseases, famine, and war. Yet a simple wisdom we still ignore: to live in harmony with nature and more. Thank you so much. We have some time. So Miss Naz Singh wanted to, yes, Maji.
And then you have to read 2 poems at least. Don't
Okay, Maji, I'll read another one. Again, because, yes, Maji, I'll read one more.
Two more.
Because it's about environmental conservation this time. The theme is environment. So I'll read another one. This I might have done about 2 years ago. It's known as sustainable living. Look at the snow melting on the mountains, giving birth to countless streams, fresh rivers rushing to the sea, oceans painting our planet blue. Life abounds everywhere, on the mountains and in the air, in the valleys, deserts, and the plains, in the creeks, rivers, and the oceans. Listen to the winds whisper in the trees, the sound of waves splashing on the shores, busy honeybees buzzing in the summer gardens, birds singing multitudes of melodies everywhere. Aren't these creations of Mother Earth wondrous? Are we not her loving children too? Haven't we, the humans, tortured her enough? How long can we go on thus? Mother Earth is choking with poisoned air. She is crying tears of acid rain. She is feverish with global warming. Millions of her children are becoming extinct. All this just because of us, the humans. Dinosaurs and mammoths had come and gone. Soon we might share their fate too, if sustainably we don't live and let live. This is my second poem. So, Naz Singh ji, please.
Thank you very much, Rinjin, for this opportunity. Okay, my second poem is title is Shadow. I don't correctly recall whether I have seen the dream. I don't correctly recall whether I have seen the dream in the vision or the vision in the dream. But both of them were not perfectly completed. I don't correctly recall whether I have seen the dream in the vision or the vision in the dream, but both of them were not perfectly completed till I succeed in bringing back the sleep. The night had passed and the morning was being. I dawned with sweet smile for the advent of the day. Till I succeed in bringing back the sleep, the night had passed and the morning was being. I dawned with sweet smile for the advent of the day. I'm at wit's end to explain. I'm at wit's end to explain the happenings of that night. How the moon had fainted after the departure of light. The darkness was standing somewhere in almost stunned silence. The sun to with its rays has started investigation by sending a stranger like a shadow in the direction whichever I may go in. It is taller than even me. Its glamour is too richer. It is with its own feet. If I go onward, it remains behind me. If I go back, it comes ahead. If I go onward, it remains behind me. If I go back, it comes ahead. I don't know whether it is someone mine or mere shadow. I remains all the time gazing at me. When I stand still, it too stands still. When I move, I too moves. It too moves, as if it were deeply related to me, and it has been knowing me for centuries. Anyway, how much strange the action is, isn't it? How much strange the action is, isn't it? Even an unknown shadow doesn't betray the company, does it? But someone ours, how easily betray the company, doesn't he? He who was outsider remained the same outsider, but he too who was ours didn't continue to be ours, Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much, Nasji. All the eminent poets and poetesses, I had a great time being with you all, listening to your beautiful poems. Thank you so much for sharing your innermost feelings. Now we have only two minutes. I would appreciate if Majid, अगर आप कुछ बोले तो Majid Kaur ji.
I love you. I love all
Love
of
you too, Majid. Miss you a lot. We want to see you in person very soon.
On 6th November, 6th, 7th, 8th November, we are having the next conference.
We will pray for that, Majid. We look forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ranjan. And
Dr. Devendra also, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Friends, this was a wonderful session of poetry reading. Hope you all enjoyed it very much. On behalf of Sahitya Academy and Foundation of Shark Writers and Literature, I convey my heartfelt thanks to all the poet participants. I also thank to viewers and audience of the session. May I request all to share the YouTube link with different social handles so that lovers of literature may enjoy this event. Thanks again. Namaskar.